controversial stance, I thought episode 3 was cute. Anyway, hello. I am Simon, and I have yet more to say about Heated Rivalry, because I thought I was done. Okay, or at least I thought I was done for the time being. Because I talked about what I wanted to talk about, right? I talked about how the show has made me go diabolically insane, and I talked about the fact that people are weird about the actors, and then I was done, right? I ran out of things that I wanted to talk about, and then episode 3 came out, and the girls hated episode 3, and me and the U-Haul lesbians that I watched episode 3 with, we loved episode 3. We thought episode 3 was fun and cute, and now I need to come online and defend it, because the girls are stupid and wrong. I will say, the main complaint I've seen about this episode in particular is simply that it stops talking about Shane and Ilya, and I don't care about that. That's me. That's not true. I do care about them. I care about their lore. I care about their story. But, like, I don't think that's a valid complaint, really. Like, I think if the story had been completely unrelated to them, like, in every way nothing to do with them, it would have been one thing. But the themes are there, and they're in the story, just, like, it's about a tangential. I don't think that's a valid complaint. I've watched so much television, right? And, like, okay, what's a good example of this? There's an episode of The West Wing, my favorite show ever. There's an episode of The West Wing that is exclusively about CJ. You do not see a single other character outside of the first, like, 5 minutes, and then, like, one scene on television. And, like, that's it. It's only about this one character, and it's one of my favorite episodes. Now, granted, at that point, you'd known CJ, but even for this, like, an episode diving into Scott Hunter is interesting to me, right? I'm intrigued. I'm compelled by it. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun. I thought it had its moments. I just feel like the girls are so invested in Ilya and Shane, and I get why, because the show wants you to be, but I think we ended at, like, a good point for them to take a break from them, let us have a breather, especially because the first 2 episodes came out in one shot, right? Like, they're giving us time to breathe, to sit, and then we'll circle back. Actually, I do have one complaint, which is personal to me specifically about them taking a break from the Ilya Shane story, which is that I've been listening to the audiobook of Heated Rivalry on YouTube. I don't want that thing in my Audible, mainly because it's my mother's Audible, but I've been listening to the audiobook, and I've been, like, I watched the first 2 episodes, and I listened to the chapters through the first 2 episodes, and then I was like, I should take a break, right? Like, I'll pause, because at that point it was, like, Wednesday. And I was like, okay, I'll pause, episode 3 will come out, and then I'll listen to, like, the next section through the next episode. And now I can't do that. I have been thinking that I should read Game Changer, like the book version of episode 3. I think I'd like it. I think it would be fun, but, like, I haven't started it yet. I do have a little bit of time to kill, but not a ton. I don't know. We'll see. I might start it. I have time to kill at work for the next few days, so, like, who knows what's gonna happen. But either way, that was my complaint, right? The only reason that I'm mad about it is that it now means that I have to wait longer to keep reading Heated Rivalry, but I can also just read another book in the meantime. Anyway, that was complaint number 1. Complaint number 2 I've seen is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, which is basically someone tweeted out, and to be fair, this person has been dragged for filth on my timeline, if nothing else. They basically tweeted out, like, something along the lines of, so there are 4 canonically gay characters and they're all white. And I need you to understand, I saw this tweet in the presence of my friends that I was watching Heated Rivalry with. I should give context, actually. So I saw the first 2 episodes with 2 friends, and then I went to New York for the weekend, and I rewatched the first 2 episodes with 2 different friends and episode 3, because they hadn't seen the first 2 and they wanted to watch it, and I was gonna watch it in the Uber to their apartment, because their apartment was like an hour away from where I landed at Newark. So I was gonna watch it in the Uber, and then they were like, no, we want to watch it. So I was like, cool. So I watched it with them. But I was, like, in their presence when I saw this tweet that was like, all the main characters are white. And I was like, okay, but, like, they're not. Like, visibly, Hudson Williams is not a white man. But more importantly, B, it is said in episode 1, like, in the first 15 minutes of episode 1, that Shane is not white. Not to mention his mother. His canonical mother is, like, prancing around for the first 2 episodes, visibly not a white woman. It's just, to be fair, they did get dragged for filth. And everyone was like, cool, so that's, like, kind of super racist that you're assuming just because he's, like, kind of white passing that he's white now. But, like, it made me feel like a crazy person, because I'd rewatched episode 1, like, an hour earlier, where they're like, we're so glad that Shane is Asian. And I'm just like, it said in canon. Circling back now, I would like to defend myself for a second, okay? Because I texted the bestie after episode 3 when everyone was dragging it. And she also didn't like it, to be fair. But I texted Bestie, I was like, I think it's cute. And then she tried to read me. She tried to drag me for this, and I have to defend myself. She gave 2 reasons that I felt like I liked it more. One was that it is YN self-insert fanfiction, which it is. I'll give her that one. This is very self-insert fanfiction. Like, the plot of Game Changer is arguably the most self-insert fanfiction thing I've ever read. As someone who's read self-insert fanfiction, it is crazy work. But the other thing that she complained about with this episode was that the angst didn't make sense, and I think that's a crazy stance. I went on a tirade. I sent her like a 2-paragraph reply with like punctuation and everything. I sent like a thesis. And here's my thing, because I have seen other people complaining about Kip's angst and all that. I will say, the whole thing, when someone did point this out, and I was like, that is so true, when they were like, he was talking about how he misses his dad, and it's like, Scott's like away half the time. Go home. You don't have to stay in his apartment. That one I'll give you. But my angst that I want to focus on is the whole like having to stay in the closet thing. Because here's the thing. Not recently. It's been a while. I've dated closeted men in my life, and I do think that it is sort of a unique experience in a way. Like, here's the thing. There's something about going into a relationship, because the bestie did point out, it was like at the start of their relationship, Scott is like, I cannot publicly claim you. Like, maybe one day down the line, but not here, not now. And I think going into it with that sense is one thing, and then you experience it, right? Because, like, here's the thing. Throughout the episode, we see that is not Scott's line. Scott's line is basically, like, I can't be seen in public with you, right? Like, standing next to Kip at an art gallery set that man into a spiral. The concept of just, like, going to a gay bar for someone else's party set that man into a spiral. Like, I understand that Kip could go into this relationship thinking this is fine for him and realizing after the fact that it's not. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I've seen so many people complain that Kip seems so indecisive because he went into this relationship knowing that it was going to have to stay in the closet and then being mad when it was in the closet. And I think that the circumstances were not something he foresaw. Like, I think there's a difference between, like, we can just look like friends versus I can't be publicly seen with you. But more importantly, I don't think there's anything wrong with changing your mind about what you want in a relationship. You can go into a relationship thinking something is fine for you. The example I gave, actually, I think this was a good example. I actually really liked this example that I gave the bestie when she called me out for this. Which was, I said, if someone who's not asexual, were to date an asexual person, and going in, I was like, this is fine, I have a hand, I'll be fine. And then further into the relationship, I realized, no, this is something that I actually need in my life. I don't think there's anything wrong with having that realization. And I think the same thing is true for closeted relationship Kip. I think Kip can go into that relationship being like, yes, this is fine, like, I can live with this, and then realizing further down the line, this is actually not what I want. This isn't what I need. And I don't think that he should be dragged for that. Also, I will say, episode 3 is cute. I do think episode 3 is cute in the YN self-fanfiction way. Like, to be fair, everyone's been calling it Steve Bucky fic. And one of my best friends, the one I was with in New York that was watching it with me, clocked it immediately as Superbat. And then, like, 2 days later, I saw a tweet about how Rachel Reed used to write Superbat, and I sent it to her, and we were like, guys, we're having visions. Everyone was wrong but us. We are the only ones who were correct. But I think it was cute. I think it was, like, it's very fan fiction. I will say, episodes 1 and 2 are, like, very fan fiction, and episode 3 is, dare I say, the most fan fiction thing I've ever seen in my life, with the sole exception of the after films. The after films are truly their own level, but, like, I've seen 50 Shades, right? Like, I've seen a lot of Messy Boots things, and this is the most fan fiction thing I've ever seen, in a way that, like, kind of enthralls me, because it has all the cute parts, and I think I need to read the book. I think that's my takeaway. I think I need to read the book. Anyway, my tirade is almost over, but I feel like I haven't conveyed enough that I did like it. I did really like this episode. I thought it was cute. I thought it was sweet. I thought it had its moments. I thought it was fun. And I think the people who are mad are frankly wrong. I think you're wrong. I think you need to learn to accept that not every episode has to focus around the characters that you like, and we're fine. I don't care that they're the main characters. An episode focused on a side character is just as fun for me, and I'm fine with it. So yeah, episode 3 is cute. Episode 3 is good. Y'all were haters. And with that, thank you for watching. That is all I have in this moment. I would say that's all I have about Heated Rivalry, but Lord knows, with the way I've been going emotionally, I might need to talk about the show more after episode 4 comes out. Who's to say? I don't know what's going to happen in that episode. It could make me go crazy even further. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment whatever you want down below. Like and subscribe if you want to or don't. I'll be fine either way. In the description, I'll put my other heated rivalry videos. I've made 2 of them. I've made one about how it's making me go crazy and one about how people are weird about the actors. I'll put both of them down there. You may watch them if you so choose. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Bye.